What the fuck is up, YouTube? Welcome to Clown Questions, the show where there are no dumb questions. I'm your host, Matt Clown Emoji. Yes, that is my legal government name. And the question I'm asking today is, why was Anthony Edwards late for work? I attempt to answer that question and some more on this episode of Clown Questions. Who's down to clown?
That's a clown question, bro.
So why was Ant Edwards late for work? According to Anthony Edwards himself, he, quote, lost track of time. Now, he just had a newborn baby, so, maybe it had something to do with that. He's changing diapers. He's feeding them via airplane spoon. But I don't buy that because it's not like he just got born, so that wasn't the reason. But in order to figure out the answer to this question, I decided to go to a very reliable source for information, Twitter, which is now known as X. Fuck you, Elon, for changing that. But here are some theories that I found in the quote tweets of the Bleacher Report tweet explaining that he was late for the game. This one comes from A Rush 3 at Andrew Rushing 12. This my dude, but can we be serious, bruh? Doing left-handed shot in the All-Star, this stuff as well. Cut it out. Let's go to work. So maybe Ant's just not locked in. Could that be the reason why he was late? I don't buy it. Here's one from one of one at Solo Young Buck. His humiliation ritual rules are embarrassing. They want to do whatever they can to assassinate the main character. So, humiliation ritual. Is Anthony Edwards in the Illuminati? Is that why he's late for work? The Illuminati wanted to humiliate him by making him come off the bench for the first time in his rookie season. That doesn't seem likely. Let's go to Poppy at 7 Unky. This is that Gen Z bullshit. What a take. Ant's late for the game because he's an entitled member of Generation Z. Awesome take from Poppy there. And the leading theory that I found the most amount of quote tweets in agreement, I first saw a parody account at He Got Gam 5 post this theory. For show, an unscheduled number 2 caused this. That's the most likely theory, and that's probably the answer. Ant had to take a shit before the game, and you can't blame him for doing that, because what are you gonna do? Leave during the first quarter to take a shit? No, you gotta take care of your business before the game gets going, obviously. But yeah, that's the. I don't answer many questions on the show, despite the name of the show being Clown Questions. But I think I have an answer this time, and it's Anthony Edwards had to take a shit. But speaking of people that don't take shits, what a segue there. Is Caitlin Clark, because girls don't poop, is Caitlin Clark the greatest college basketball player ever? Some are calling her Ponytail Pete after she surpassed Pistol Pete Maravich's all-time scoring record in college. So is she the greatest college player of all time, men's or women's? I don't want to answer this question. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read a text from my dad who had this take, and I'm reading my dad's text because I'm not going to be the one to say this take. But here's what my dad had to say about Ponytail Pete, Caitlin Clark. He said, Caitlin Clark beat Pistol Pete's scoring record. Big deal. If doing a podcast, she played 50 more games, and Pistol Pete didn't have a 3-point shot back then. Pistol only played 3 years. No comparison, as he is the GOAT. That's hard to argue with. No 3-point line, and you only played 3 seasons, and you still have the record by a wide margin. Caitlin surpassed it, so kudos to her. But it's hard to argue with my dad's logic there, although he is biased, as Pete Maravich is probably his favorite player ever. But he's not exactly wrong. Who was wrong, and that's the Denver Broncos, which leads me to my next question. Did the Seahawks pull off the biggest fleece of all time? So obviously the famous Russell Wilson trade happened between the Seahawks and Broncos, 2 years ago. And a few days ago, the Broncos announced that they would be releasing Russell Wilson. Not an unexpected move by any means, but I would like to revisit this trade again and talk about why the Seahawks might have pulled off the fleece of the century. So the Seahawks traded Russell Wilson and a 4th-round pick for Drew Lock, Noah Fant, Shelby Harris, a 1st, a 2nd, and a 5th, and all that for 2 abysmal years, and now $39 million in dead cap space. Fleece of the century. I don't know if this is comparable to the great train robbery with Herschel Walker. I got to study up a little more on my history, but it's got to be up there for the biggest fleecings of all time. And speaking of another fleece, the Jets actually fleeced the Seahawks, and this one obviously went under the radar a little bit because Russell Wilson's a much bigger story, more popular athlete overall. But the Seahawks just cut Jamal Adams. So they officially got fleeced by the Jets. They gave up 2 first-round picks for Jamal Adams, and now he's off the team, and they got $20 million of dead cap. So the thing that the Seahawks and Broncos have in common is they both love getting fleeced, I guess. Staying in the NFL here, are the Bills tanking? So obviously Russell Wilson is the most notable player to be cut, but Bills cut 3 notable players today. They cut Tre'Davious White, Jordan Poyer, and Mitch Morse. Now, I'm not as dialed in on the Bills as, folks in Buffalo. So I'm going to refer to a tweet from the Bills Chat podcast at Bills Chat Pod on Twitter. Trey White tore his Achilles week 4 on a play that ultimately ended his Bills career. Jordan Poyer rode back to the locker room with Trey as a show of support. Mitch Morse got emotional in his press conference talking about how great of a person Trey is. All 3 were cut today. So coming from a Bills fan, it seems like that fan base is not happy about the moves. They lost 2 cornerstone pieces to their defense and offensive lineman Mitch Morse. And while they were doing that, they also restructured Von Miller's contract. So sort of puzzling moves from the Bills. I guess all these moves are in the name of money, cap space, even though as my, as my favorites, pardon my take, told me, the cap isn't even real. It's, it's a made up thing. But yeah, just based on that one tweet, which is, great evidence, I'd be pissed if I were a Bills fan because everyone's heard of Trey White, Jordan Poyer, they're all pros. I didn't know Mitch Morse, I don't know that many offensive linemen, but it seems like they're going backwards. But, who knows? Maybe they'll spend that money on Saquon. I don't know. Whoever the big free agents for them are, but they're going to need to rebuild that secondary, get another O-lineman, and who knows? We'll have to see what they decide to do with that extra money. Speaking of money, is LeBron the greatest scorer ever? He was money on his shot last week to hit 40,000 points. But is he the greatest scorer ever? Personally, I don't think so. I'm a LeBron fan, LeBron bandwagon, whatever you want to call me. I've, rooted for him since his days in Miami. But no, I don't think he's the greatest scorer of all time. I think that probably got to go to Michael Jordan or Kevin Durant. Just because he has the most sheer points doesn't mean, he's the greatest scorer. He only won the scoring title once. Jordan won it probably 10 times. KD, I'm sure, a handful. So, he's obviously still in the conversation for greatest player ever, but it's just funny that I don't think he's the greatest scorer ever, despite the fact that he has the most points ever. Staying on LeBron, I'll go to LeBron James Jr. Apparently, he's going to quote, gauge interest of teams rather than his draft stock to determine whether he wants to enter the NFL draft. So essentially, he's about to get a free ride on an NBA team if he so decides. Once LeBron's a free agent, if you're the Orlando Magic, Detroit, well, not the Detroit Pistons, because you're not going to pick Bronny 1 or 2 overall, but if you're a middling team, why the hell not take LeBron James Jr.? Because then you get LeBron James Sr. So crazy. And I just think it's incredible because this would be the first time ever someone's getting drafted from a reason other than their talent. So I just think it would be kind of insanity to draft him, but I wouldn't blame any team for doing that because you get Brown. And then another fun fact from LeBron, despite averaging 27, 7, and 7 for his career, he has never finished a game with 27, 7, and 7. I just thought that was a wild stat. And I will leave it there and struggle to find a segue to my next question, which is Archie Manning dumb? Yes. What the fuck are you doing, Archie? So he's opting out of college football 25. And I guess he says he wants to prove himself before he's in the game. And I looked at it. I'm like, why would he opt out of that? Like, I'm sure you get compensation, some revenue sharing from the game because they're using your likeness. And I checked, and apparently 11,000 players or so are going to get a free copy of the game and $600. So, that's not much. Archie comes from a wealthy family, so I'm sure he's not too concerned about the lost money there. But I just think it's a little cowardly of a move to opt out of the game. You don't need to prove yourself, man. It's not like, you'll automatically be starting in the game. It'll be based on, I don't know. I guess he doesn't want people to take him off the bench and put him in their starting college lineup. But come on, man, have some fun. Get us in the game. That you know damn well everyone who's playing that game, if they click Texas, they want to play with Archie Manning. They want to see if he's got some of that Peyton or Eli or even Arch, his grandpa. I don't know how the fuck that family works. But yeah, Archie Manning, are you afraid of the limelight? It's a question I got for you. But speaking of the limelight, going back to the NFL, who got franchise tagged? I'm going to go through them and I'm going to give them a grade. Cincinnati Bengals franchise tagged T. Higgins for $21.8 million. I'll give that an A grade. He's a great receiver. Colts tagged Michael Pittman Jr. for the same amount of money as T. Higgins. I'll give it a B+, just because I think T's slightly more talented. Although I got to look up the stats and study up for my fantasy football draft next year. Moving on, the Jaguars tagged edge Josh Allen for $24 million. I grade that an A+. Best player named Josh Allen in the league. I'm sure no one's made that joke before. Panthers also franchise tagged an edge player, that being Brian Burns, who is also going to be making $24 million. A+, best move the Panthers have made in the past 2 years or so. Brian Burns is one of the only good things I got going for him. Him and Adam Thielen, and might be it. But moving on. Baltimore Ravens tagged Justin Matabuke. I'll give it a B- because I've heard the name, but couldn't pick him out in a crowd. So B- because I heard he's good, but I don't know shit about him. Chicago Bears, they tagged Jalen Johnson for $19.8 million. I'm going to give that an F+ because he's a good player, but he's a Chicago Bear. Kansas City Chiefs, they tagged L'Jarius Sneed for $19.8 million, but despite that, they have gone on record publicly saying that they are open to a trade for L'Jarius Sneed. I'll give that a C+. It just seems weird to franchise tag a guy just to put him out as trade bait. I don't know if quarterbacks typically make $19 million a year, although it's only for 1 year. So maybe someone trades for him and get that 1 year rental because it's like you got paid $20 million a year for 6 years. But yeah, I'm gonna grade that a C plus. It's kind of weird to franchise tag him and then turn around and say you're gonna trade him. As for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they franchise tagged Antonio Winfield Jr. I'll give it a B plus. He's a Super Bowl champ. And speaking of Super Bowl champs, man, I am on fire with the fucking segues today. First, your interruption. Today, it's going to be from the Pivot podcast. Guest Mecole Hardman was on, and he had some interesting things to say that might draw into question the legitimacy of the Chiefs' third Super Bowl in the last 5 years. Here's Mecole.
So you gonna go back and go find somebody else to catch these punts? Cause I'm not going out there. Then you go to the head coach like, hey man, just do it for us. I'm like, no, I'm not catching for that man, bro. I'm not playing for him like at all. I wouldn't even do it. Well, do it for the team. I said I'm gonna be hurting the team if I go back there, cause I'm not gonna catch the ball. Like I'm telling you right, I was so checked out. Like it's over. I already talked to Veach and Pat. Like, hey, bro, come get me, bro. Like, what are y'all doing? Like, what are we talking about? Like, man, come get me,
bro.
Like.
But they do come get you, dog. Take me to, we had Antonio Pierce on the show.
Okay.
Tampering. Fucking tampering. I love that. Shout out Ryan Clark. This is a, homie move, but shout out to him for immediately changing the subject. He's like, oh, and then they got you. But what about Antonio Pierce? Mecole's like, yeah, AP. Obviously, Mecole didn't realize that he probably shouldn't have revealed that nugget of information. Obviously, the damning part is that he said he had already talked to the Kansas City GM, Brett Veach, and Patrick Mahomes, and obviously told him, come get me. They traded for him or signed him. I forget which way it was. I think it was a trade. But yeah, sounds a lot like tampering. Per the NFL's policy, the term tampering, as used within the National Football League, refers to any interference by a member club with the employer-employee relationship of another club, or any attempt by a club to impermissibly induce a person to seek employment with that club or the NFL. To paraphrase in a way that was copied and pasted from this article, in other words, so long as Hardman was a Jet, he wasn't allowed to speak with Veach or Mahomes about playing the Chiefs. There you have it. The Chiefs tampered. And as far as I'm concerned, their Super Bowl win this year is null and void, because Mecole Hardman, not only did he help get him there, he had the game-winning fucking touchdown. So I say it's null and void. Strip him of the trophy. Do what they did to Louisville, what they did to Reggie Bush. Take that Super Bowl trophy. Get it the fuck out of KC. But I don't want to give it to San Fran either. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do. But to me, that Super Bowl doesn't fucking count because they cheated, they tampered. Mecole got them there, and he didn't get them there, but Mecole got there, and he got the game winner. So I propose either strip him of the trophy or replay the game starting from 3 seconds left in overtime and give the 49ers a chance to win, even though they probably still lose. Anywho, I have another segment for y'all, and that segment's called Pass or Play. Pass or Play, Xavier Worthy, record 4.21 40 time. That plays. I'm a Packers fan, as you can see from this quilt or whatever the hell it is. So personally, as a Packers fan, I would pass on him, even though I just said he plays football. But I'm only passing on because I think Green Bay's got a stacked wide receiving group. But at the same time, I wouldn't be mad if we picked Xavier Worthy. I mean, fastest guy ever. How could that end up? How could that turn out poorly? As John Ross curses me out from his Arena Football League locker room. Shots fired. Let's just go to the next one. Pass or play, Jason Kelce, first ballot Hall of Fame. that obviously plays. He's a Super Bowl champion, how many time Pro Bowler, All Pro, and he's literally spearheaded the most unstoppable play in maybe football history with the tush push, which is, also the play that probably is the reason why he retired. But moving on, passer play BoJack Horseman. I don't know why I put this on. Sometimes I throw random shit at the wall because I'm trying to make content. But BoJack Horseman, I'm gonna pass on it, despite the fact that I've been binge watching it for the past week. I'm only watching it because I heard The View from Halfway Down is a masterpiece of an episode, and I want all the lead up, the emotion. My friend Taylor told me she just said don't watch it. So I heard. I guess it's somewhat depressing show, but sorry Tay, I'm gonna end up finishing it. I think I'll probably finish watching it after this pod ski. But yeah, pass on BoJack. I'm not a fan of the show. It's sad, but I want to see the deepness of the famous episode. All right, pass or play. Alperen Şengün. Play. This man has been balling for the Houston Rockets. Heard the name, didn't know who he was, but he's starting to put the league on notice. And yeah, Alperen, I apologize. I was not familiar with your game, but clearly you got a dog in you, or not a dog. You got that dog in you. I don't know how that. I don't know. That phrase weirds me out sometimes. But final pass or play, Champions League. I'm gonna pass. Sorry, I didn't mean to do the middle finger. But yeah, I apologize, Poker Perry. I said I was gonna get into it, and I'm really just passing on it now out of spite because I tried to put an incredible Champions League goal, 94th minute game-winning goal. I tried to put that in the Goosebump Moments of the Week, and UEFA blocked my entire YouTube video. I had to go back, re-edit it, redact that highlight. So yeah, fuck UEFA, fuck the Champions League, but I will, ironically, I'm going to be tuning in. That was a load of bullshit I just said, but I'm just salty that they wouldn't let me put it in the Goosebump Moments of the Week, which is our next and final segment that we're getting to. Let's start it off with me getting my headphones on so I can really get in the spirit of the commentary. So starting it off with number 10, we got the Doggy Go for Georgia Tech. I hope I pronounced that right. Georgia Dongo, game winner, 0.4 left. Georgia Tech goes on to win. Pretty noise. Yes, sir. Number 9, clock waning down on College game day. Avion Cooley got one shot to win it. Bang, bang, Niner, gang, gang. The Bill Pack. But yeah, what a moment for this man. 19 grand and jump in the fucking stands like your D-Wade. Let's go to number 8. Rasmus Dahlin for the Lightning. Or, excuse me, for the Sabres against the Lightning. Not a puck boy. Here we go, Houston. Jamal Shed misses. Gets the rebound. Hits it. I'm pissed because I was this close away from getting the Oklahoma upset pick over Houston correctly. Let's go to number 6. We got Austin Matthews. You already know what's going to happen here. He's going to score his 54th goal of the season. Best player in the league? Question mark? I don't know. Not an NHL guy. But, yeah. Leafs win. Let's go to number 5. This kid's going for the full court putt. 94 feet. Electric. Hits it through the tiny hole. That's... He only won $5,000. Not as much as you went on College game day, but that's, that's more difficult than a half-court shot, I would argue. But yeah, let's go to number 4. Lipscomb versus North Alabama. Lipscomb ties it up late, 4 seconds. North Alabama's got 3 seconds, and they got a score. And KJ Johnson does just that. Hitting a runner, not quite a circus shot, but just an insane game winner for them. A son. All right, number 3, Javon Hanna is going to throw the ball in, and he's going to throw it full court to Anthony Crump at the buzzer. Western Michigan gets the win over Ball State. Are you serious? Football pass. That was a Pat Mahomes tight pass from Javon. All right, let's go to the number 2 moment of the week. Maybe actually the best player in the league, Connor McDavid. I don't know, it's either McDavid or Matthews, I don't know, but McDavid, goes coast to coast, puts him on skates, literally, hits the game winner versus the Blues with 25 seconds left in overtime. Number 1 moment of the week, Eastern Michigan. Miss. Throw it down. Number 1 moment of the week, Eastern Michigan goes on to beat Akron.
Here it is. Watch Billingsley.
I had to put it number 1. I've never seen. Arkansas did it once, but rarely are you gonna see a put-back dunk for the fucking dub, and you see it there from Jalen Billingsley. Let's finish off the show by getting into the college basketball spirit, as we just were, a bunch in that goosebump moments of the top 10 of the week. Why do people watch this show? You should watch it. If you're entertained. If you're not, fucking get out of here and block me. But actually don't do that, because I still want you to see my content, because I can use the views, as I have 4 subscribers on this channel. But my rambling aside, I'm going to pick every single conference championship game. Not every game, that'd be way too many fucking games. But I'm going to pick a champion for each conference championship. I'm just going to knock them off, rapid fire here. A-Sun, give me North Alabama. They fucking hit the buzzer beater. It was electric. Give me North Alabama. Enough said. Big Sky, give me Montana State. I got to shout out my boys, Sam and Nick, who go to Montana State. That's the pick. It's Montana State for the boys. All right, Big South. I'm going to go with High Point, just because at many points I enjoy being high. CAA, which is shorthand for the Coastal Athletic Association. Give me Monmouth. 2 words, Xander Rice. He was on a goosebump moment of the week for hitting a half quarter at the buzzer beater. And then a few, games later, he hit another half court buzzer beater. That one was at the end of the half, not, to win the game. But regardless, Xander Rice, electric. Monmouth, they're going to be dancing. And I'm going to be picking the next one, which is the Horizon League. Give me Green Bay, because go Pack, go. And now we should talk about the Missouri Valley. Give me Indiana State. They're the 1 seed for one reason, and that's Robbie Avila. Look at the facts. He seems like Larry Bird. He feels like Larry Bird. He's on the same team as Larry Bird. I don't see Indiana State losing in that tourney, and I'm praying and hoping that Wisconsin doesn't have to face Indiana State in the first round of the tournament or ever, because they would probably dust our ass. But yeah, give me Indiana State, just solely due to the man they call Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Let's go to the the Northeast Conference. Give me CCSU, just because it's fun to say. For those of you who don't know, that's Central Connecticut State University. I didn't know it either, guys. Don't worry. Ohio Valley Conference. Give me Little Rock, because on New York, I'm Millie Rock. Fucking stupid-ass joke. Patriot League. Give me the number 1 seed, Colgate, just because they got decent toothpaste, and the Badgers played them in a game in the tournament, a year or 2 ago. So, whatever. Give me Colgate. They're the number 1 seed, all right? So shut the fuck up. Southern Conference. Let's go with the Citadel for no reason other than that sounds cool. The Citadel. Yeah, sounds cool. But yeah, I looked it up. Apparently it's a military college. Doesn't feel as cool now. Not that I don't support the troops, I stand with the troops, BLM, all that. But I should move on to the Southland Conference. Give me McNeese. Early in the year, they were on a Goosebump moment of the week. I'm biased to them. If you got that clutch gene, I'm going to pick you. But yeah, McNeese, they're 17-1 in conference, 28-3 overall. I don't see them losing to anybody in Southland. Moving on to the Summit League, I'm picking Oral Roberts. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. The Sun Belt, I will go with James Madison. I gotta rep the boy. PFT, shout out. Pro Football Talk. And final conference, that these are all conferences, tournaments that will be completed by the next episode, and then for that episode I'll do the rest of the tournaments. We got 2 weeks or so of these, but yeah, last one that will conclude before the next episode is the West Coast Conference. Give me Gonzaga. Why am I picking Gonzaga? Because they're a household name, and I think they beat St. Mary's this year, and them and St. Mary's are the only good teams in the conference. So yeah. Anyways, you may think that none of those picks had any legitimate reasoning behind them, but I once heard of a girl that won her March Madness pool by picking the games based on team colors. So you can go ahead and check your KenPom, check your analytics, listen to Joe Lenardi for all I care. But I'm going to keep predicting from the heart, no matter what my brain tells me. You zig, I zag. Stupid.